Well, hello, everybody. It is Wednesday. We are back with Hammer Away. That's right, it's 4 o'clock. And look at this. We got Double the Thunder with Brian Chappell. He's from Divine Sorrow. Now, the first thing I got to do when I get this guy in here is we got to discuss his name. So here we go. All right, folks. We can all dig it, I am sure. Here we go. Hello, Brian. What is going on with you today, Chappie?
What's up, big guy?
Too much. Too much.
I just got in
just
the door,
like you,
so
but
just
probably not as much as you, right?
Oh, it's been a busy day. Busy week too.
Now, you have a business, right?
We do. Yeah, I have a day job. I know.
Yeah, I got a day job.
I'm not cool enough to not have a day job.
There's different places of being cool, so
Yeah, well, I'm trying my best to make this camera look good. I don't even know what I'm doing.
It's looking great. You got guitars and everything right there.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
That's not what she said.
Oh, I got a lot of kids. Anyway. How you doing today, bud?
We have had a chance to hang out a few times, but that's about only a few times. But we realized recently when we were hanging out with Aaron Hagar that we need to do that more often.
We bonded pretty good, didn't we? But we're bass players. We're supposed to. No one really understands this. You know what I mean? We're kind of the we're the weird kids.
Well, yeah,
it's kind of our job to be the weird kids, right?
Yeah. But we're bass players and we're frontman and we're cuddly. So that's what matters.
Yeah, I look like a big cuddly bear, don't I?
You and me both, right?
Yeah.
So then we have lots to talk about here. We have I was trying to do a share with your website is what I'm trying to do. Let me see if I can get that up here this time.
.com.
What'd you say?
DivineSorrow.com.
Yes.
Divine Sorrow the band.
Yeah, because but I don't. For whatever reason, I'm not seeing it. My other screen show up, so that's doesn't make me happy. So let me put that in here. I think I put it down below too, but let's do it this way.
Yeah, put DivineSorrow.com, and they'll say Divine Sorrow the band, and just click on that.
Yeah. So you can get on here. You guys have 3 albums now. Is one's an EP, or are they all even?
Well, there's full? 3 full. There's 3 full CDs, and then there's a song or 2 that are just released by themselves, and we're currently recording our 4th. Right. So we have new music on the way.
Excellent. And where do you record?
So we go to Sawhorse with Jason McIntyre, and everybody in town knows Jason. He's the wizard. And while some bands call him the producer, we call him our reducer. Sometimes I think we need a 5-minute intro for a song, and Jason proves to me time after time that I am completely incorrect. So he has a way of showing me how we can do it in 30 seconds.
Oh, that's great. That is great. Well, hey, I'll tell you what. Look at this. We got somebody else in with us. What's up, Justin? How you doing?
The drummer is here.
Yes. We got the rhythm section, and there you go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The whole rhythm section is here now.
Yeah, that's the only ones that matter.
Right. We're the foundation. That's the most important.
We're the reason.
Oh, man. Drew is in here with us today. He's one of my regulars. He was up late with me last night. We were shooting a couple of games last night.
Oh, you guys are trying to behave?
No.
No?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I thought that you do that. I thought you were a behavior.
Oh, no. I'm a bass player. So
we're just quiet about what we do. We're secret. Nobody's supposed to know. Sorry.
Bass is not supposed to be quiet. Bass is supposed to be loud and powerful.
That's it.
I try not to be. I try not to doubt on it too much. we try not to talk to other people. The bass player is usually the most reclusive guy in the band.
Yeah, but we're never allowed to be that, though.
Well, if you're the lead singer, you get some privileges.
Yeah.
And then everybody else counts on me to do all the talking usually. So I'm glad somebody joined.
Well, that's because you're also the singer. You're the front man. So you kind of have to.
Well,
it's not.
And here we have
me talking.
Well, see, right now we have.
You are the drummer. So
we have one of the earliest members of the band and the newest member of the band. I don't know where to point. There.
He's
right?
down there. He's down.
He's down there.
I'm right there. Here. Right.
Do you think the Brady Bunch had this problem?
Well, I think the camera's in reverse. It's freaking me out.
It is. I could reverse it, but then your shirt doesn't read right.
Yeah, you're right. What shirt you got on there?
This isn't reading right.
Look at you.
Yeah. Nice.
Look at you. Right on, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, we're not really.
Yeah, thank you.
T-shirt business. So, as all real original musicians know, you're really not in the music business. You're in the T-shirt business.
Right.
That's
pretty
how
much
we make most of our money. Especially since when people spin our music, we get upwards sometimes of 23 cents at a time. We try not to spend it all in one place.
Now things are going to get crazy. Now I don't know if once I let Sonny in, it's going to get really out of hand.
Well, he will probably keep us from going places we shouldn't go. Sonny's our Jesus in the band. He keeps, like, the other three of us are a lot more like Mike. I would say that Sonny is like the antithesis of Mike.
Oh, he left.
Oh, he'll be back. Trust me.
Yeah, he will.
But the antithesis of Mike. But then if you group Justin and I in with that, we're probably really much closer to Mike on the spectrum. Sonny is our, like I said,
I'm somewhere between Sonny and Mike.
Yeah, you're not. You're really not.
How's it going, Sonny?
Yeah, I'm not quite as sexy as Sonny.
Yeah, I'm just driving home right now from work.
Okay. All right. So this was probably the nicest something I've ever seen Sonny wear. It's like nice, just got a business polo and
yeah.
Nice.
He's probably got his dad jeans on too.
I don't wear dad jeans, man.
So that's never a question. I just don't have dad jeans.
Can't wear. You got your mom jeans on, Brian?
I don't know, Steve.
Yeah.
So Sonny, we got Sonny on guitar, Justin on drums, and Chappie there is lead singer, bass player. We've already covered that.
Well, he's the bassist. Just happens to sing.
Yeah. I think that's what we're
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Look at that. Everybody's moving around. I love it.
Nice. Look at that.
So let's see. So Justin, you're the newest, right?
Yeah. I've been in the band for 7 years, but I'm the newest one.
7 years.
He's
you started out the band when?
It was early 2017.
Okay.
When I started with them.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd known about the band for a few years. I'd never really heard the music, but I'd heard the name around town because I played at original bands too and played with a lot of the original bands that were around at the time. And I'd heard the name Divine Sorrow quite a bit when it was a mutual acquaintance that referred me to them. And I kind of, because, they had a little bit of a name built for themselves. They had a little bit of reputation around town. I figured there would have been a decent line of drummers wanting to audition for the part. Much to my surprise, there wasn't. But after I talked to Brian, I think for about an hour on the phone, before we even met, and I just kind of laid it out. I was like, look, I said, I'm looking for a professional original band. I said, I don't want a bunch of drunks or, people doing hard drugs. Is like, I don't want any of that. I said, I want to, make, our own music and do our own thing, but do it professionally, and, we'll get in the t-shirt business.
Yeah.
But, Brian was saying, there's definitely some truth behind that. We're in the t-shirt business, joke, because selling original music, we don't really sell music anymore. You just, when you're original, I mean, you just give your music away, and you hope that, people will come to your shows and they'll really like your music after hearing it live, and they'll wander over to your merch table and pick up a t-shirt and a copy of your album and some stickers and whatever else we got.
Yeah, then we can make more CDs.
That's really how, merchandise is really how any original band can generate any kind of revenue anymore, with as much, how much the whole music business and the whole industry has changed. I mean, doing cover bands, you can pretty much, it's a lot easier to get a guarantee if you're a cover band. Okay, we'll give you X amount to play this many hours of top 40 hits for this many hours. And that's that. But when you're original band, it's a little different.
Yeah.
A lot of times those venues they're taking a risk on you because they don't know how big of a crowd you can draw if you are. So, they typically won't give, like, oh, we'll give you this to play here for, this amount of time, because, you're not playing top 40 hits. So they don't know if you're going to draw a crowd.
Right.
And St. Louis, but like,
about tributes.
Tribute bands too. And I even did the tribute circuit for a while too. I did a Tool tribute for a while, traveled the eastern 2/3 of the country for 6 years doing it. And the whole point of why we were doing it is because it was a paying gig, but it also got us in the door. The musicians I was doing this with got us in the door because we had an original project we were wanting to do. So we were establishing relationships with these clubs in other cities, so that when it came time to release our original stuff, we could go play our original stuff in these other cities because we had already, established those relationships. But yeah, doing doing cover bands, tribute bands, it's a lot easier to get guarantees up front playing that. When you're a original band, you kind of definitely have to rely on your merch sales. That's kind of the bread and butter.
You have to be committed to doing your own stuff. I mean, it takes a lot of dedication and commitment to be an original project anymore. I mean, it really does, because you don't have the whole drunk masses coming out that just want to drink all night and let off steam. I mean, coming to hear an original project, especially if it's a darker, heavier kind of thing like we are, people are connected to the songs, and the things that go along with it. So it's a different atmosphere. It's not a party atmosphere whatsoever. It's such a different vibe across the board. So you've got to find people that want to come someplace and like rip open some emotions and like feel stuff with you. And, that's the real stuff. It's just, we kind of live in a world that is not particularly friendly to that idea anymore. So, for us, and this band's been going on 13 years total, it's a long commitment, but I'm proud to say we might play a cover song or two ever, but we play our own music. We've really stuck to our guns on what we're going to do. And if we play a cover song, it's usually something that's really representative of what we kind of are with our music. It has to be the same kind of subtext. It's got to be kind of the same, everything else, to where we feel good about it, to where it feels like it flows in our set, with the super low tunings and all the different stuff. So, I mean, it has some unique challenges that other bands don't have to really deal with all the time, So, I mean, it's being an original project anymore is not for the faint of heart. I mean, if you're going out there and you just want people to clap and love you and all that, I mean, you can't, number one, be in an original project for those reasons. I mean, it's cool if people think it's cool and all that, but I mean, you got to be in it for the real stuff, which is you have something to say and you want to really say it to people, and you want to see if you can do something and change their life, you know, as much as music's changed mine. What can I do with that to change their life? You know, people that need something, you know? So I think that's kind of how we've premised this band from the beginning.
It's a whole different type of rewarding feeling when you get off stage and, you know, if you're playing cover songs and, you know, it's cool if somebody can come up to you and say, oh man, you played those songs perfectly. Like you guys, you know, you play those songs really well. But if you get off stage after playing your own music that you wrote, composed, recorded, released, produced, and somebody comes up to you and they're telling you, and with full emotion on their face, how your music or a particular song helped them through a really dark point in their life and help pull them out of a really bad space that they were, it's a whole different feeling when somebody tells you that.
It is.
I've experienced both.
I've
experienced both at getting off stage. I've had, you know, people, you know, playing the Tool tribute, how well, you know, we played Tool's music. Okay, well, that was cool. But getting off stage, you know, Divine Sorrow, and these people, you know, connect with songs that are ours, you know, not somebody else's. It's our stuff, and them telling us how much our music or whatever song in particular, how much it means to them and how much it changed their life.
Or touching on something.
It's a whole different type of rewarding.
Their life. You know, like a couple of our songs are really about losses to people with drug addictions and things like that. And you know, when you can touch people like that, people come up, they're like, oh my God, my brother, my sister, my child, I lost them. It's like, and what are you doing? I mean, there's so many things that are cool. You know, being original has some other advantages too. Like, you know, we're not 20-year-olds. So 3/4 of us in our band are over 50. Justin's in his 40s, you know. It's like you're in an age where a lot of wisdom has come into play, and you start to think, what am I doing? Like, what can I do to leave something really good behind? What can I do with this that's not self-glorifying, that's not self-adoration? What can I do that's going to leave something beautiful behind for someone else? You know, how can this affect other people in a good way? What can I do with this project when we do benefits or when we do other stuff? Because we all have jobs, we all make our money, we do all that kind of stuff. So we have the luxury of being able to play gigs. It's not how we're paying our rent, you know, so we get to do some other things that other bands don't always get to do. So it's kind of cool being in this position. It's a very different view than I think probably 95% of the musicians in St. Louis have. You know, most of them, they play to live. And look, I have a lot of respect. We know plenty of those guys. We're great friends with a lot of these guys. And but their life is definitely different than us. They've chosen to play music for their actual livelihood. And we don't have anything against that. That's awesome, you know. And some of the very best ones are the ones that really support us the most. Jerry Boschert, I'll just say it out loud.
Oh man. Yeah.
I love Jerry. Yeah. He's such a good guy, man. And you know what? Whenever we play, he's there. If he's there, big giant smiles, big giant hugs, and he's just so positive. And it's just that's the stuff, man.
Yeah. I when I see him, I think there's somebody that I think of when I see him, and I can't put my finger on it, but there is a celebrity or someone that he reminds me of. And that is exactly it. When he shows up, you get that huge smile. And when he's on stage, he's the same way.
He's a better looking John C. Reilly.
Is that what you think?
That's what I'm going. Everybody loves John Reilly. You know what I mean? He's hysterical.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know about that.
Oh my God, he kills me. But obviously Boschert is like he makes everyone laugh. His posts on Facebook and stuff sometimes are so ridiculous. He's out raking the lawn with a Gibson Flying V, like to the Judas Priest side. Every time I turn around, he's got something ridiculous going, and it kills me because it's so funny. It's just so fun.
And what a talent he is.
He is.
Just
the
crazy.
Guy's amazing. Mark Crowell. These are great guys. Sometimes I'll see a picture of Mark. He's wearing one of our shirts when he's doing his gigs. It's like, those are the guys that we we have so much respect for. And when you see they do something for us, like subliminally like that, it feels really good because they're super talented guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sonny, what's some of your favorite things about being in the band? And I guess you have to unmute on your end, I guess. About being in the band and performing with these guys.
I think just the general overall, how like Brian covered it, just how it made other people feel when you play the songs, and and it's not just me playing guitar, just the entire band, just the four of us together as one unit, and there's an energy flowing. It's like we are giving and we are receiving the same energy back from the crowd. That's the kind of stuff that I love.
That's awesome. Let me ask.
Yeah.
I was going to say too. You mentioned about energy. I was just thinking about that. I want to do this with all three of you real quick, if I can. What is it, Sonny, that I want to kind of go through each of the members of the band with you, the other three. So what is it that you draw when you're playing live? We all get this energy, of some kind of energy, from our different players that are in the bands, right? Because I know what it is from my drummer. From my drummer, I know what I can expect. And, sometimes I can tell him to throw a little something else in, but he's always on. So he's going to be there. And then my guitar player, though, I love the things that he gives me. I get a certain energy there. What is it that you, especially with Justin being the newest member, I mean, it's been a while, but what is something that you draw from Justin first? What is something that you get out of that performance with Justin?
Well, he's always in the groove. He's always, just solid drummer. I mean, when we play live, he just pound the shit out of it. I mean, the energy is there. And also I know him as a person. We're all friends, and knowing Justin, the type of a very kind person that he is. To playing with these three guys and knowing who they are, it just makes it more enjoyable and just drawing the energy from them that way.
Absolutely. And then you joined in a little bit later after they had been going for a little bit. And then what was it that drew you to Chappie as a frontman and songwriter that drew you into that? What energy do you get there?
Well, he put a lot of feelings in his singing, his vocal when he's singing in front of people. He doesn't take it lightly. He takes it very seriously, and he does a very good job connecting with people, and not just singing. Is when he's talking to the crowd, and everybody's listening to him what he's saying, and then the lyrics of the songs also connect the audience to our music. So that's what draw me to it. It's a very powerful voice. Everybody knows that. If you hear his voice, you know it's very powerful. And not just that, the bass, his bass guitar sounds amazing. It's just always booming. But you were asking about Justin about joining the band. Did you know that? I think they just think that they thought they were going to get free IT support because I'm Asian. That's why I was in the band. and then they realized that I'm not that kind of Asian. I'm not Indian. I'm not Indian.
Not that good at it.
Yeah, I suck at IT. I know a little bit. So you got the wrong IT guy, man.
He still handles it for us, though. He's still better than us. So I mean, insert stereotype here. He's still the best in the band at it.
It's a good thing you're so damn good looking, Sonny. So there you go.
All right.
I don't know about that.
So then, what do you feel that you get from Mike on the other side of the stage, on the other guitar player? Does he strictly play rhythm, or is there times where he does lead?
He plays lead also. I think one thing about Mike is that he moves around all over the stage. I mean, the guy just has energy bouncing left and right when he's playing live. So that's the kind of energy I get from him on the stage.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Chappie, let's do the same thing. What are some special things based off of what Sonny just said that you can build on for each of the other members?
So
And now Sonny.
I will say this. So first off, I'll just say this. I love that other bands come up to us and there's like, you guys seem so tight. These guys are my brothers. I mean, I'll take bullets for any guy in this band if I need to, I mean, we are a brotherhood. We freely use the word love between us because we do. I mean, it's not like, hey, we have to be really dedicated to do this. And these guys are my brothers. When one of us has a hard time, the other ones are right there. We're always there for each other. And I'll start with Justin. We had a lot of people try out for drummer. Thing was, I couldn't get him to understand, to feel the songs. I couldn't get them to understand the bounce and how we have a lot of 3 and a lot of 6. I couldn't get him to understand because they're all coming from this 4/4 world of rock. And I wanted him to do different things and feel things differently.
I was fresh off the Tool train pretty much. So I was like polyrhythms and odd meter time signatures and all that stuff.
And we play along with tracks. So, I mean, there's a discipline involved in playing on a metronome. There is a discipline that you have to have. And I really feel like most original bands really need to have that because people want to hear what they hear on a recording. They want to see you do that. So we try to reproduce that as much as possible. But Justin came in and he's young and he was an odd guy. We won't even talk about the second band practice after we hired him because it got real weird real fast. But it's like
I have no idea what they're in for.
Yeah, we had no idea. But it's like the kind that made Mike and I go, we got nothing. We can't even respond to what just happened. But it was like, so he had this other energy. And he's got a little bit of a dark past, just like we all do, Not dark like in a bad way, but just we tend to enjoy the thunderstorm a lot more. And it just seemed that Justin could fit in. And ideologically, he was very different than us. But I just had a gut feeling that if I just stuck through it with him, I'd eventually get him. And we did. It took us a minute because he's a lot younger than us. But his playing is solid.
Drummers are just weird, though, too. There's that.
Yeah,
they are.
And finding a person that's going to fit with the other weirdos in this band to where we can sit around and make jokes and send inappropriate memes and things to each other constantly. It takes a certain amount of thick skin, and he had that. And then playing together, it just went together pretty quickly. It was good. And then the longer I've gotten to know him, the more I love the guy. I mean, it's just on stage, we hit the first note together and the stage just bounces. It just moves because we're so loud and it's just so powerful. And he's really come into being amazing, in my opinion, at what we do. I can count on him. I know he's going to be back. He's got everything back there under control. And there's a lot to keep under control. Sonny, weirdest story is Sonny was actually our guitar tech after he saw us play with Ace Frehley. And Sonny is just one of those guys, like, when I first met him, he didn't come right at me. Like, he's very polite. He totally has, he thinks that people have all these boundaries and he respects them. And he's just this really great human being. And then when I figured out, like, he was going to try out to be our guitar player, in my head, I was like, fuck yeah. I'm like, because that would be a really great thing because I love Sonny. Sonny and I have been through together, between things that have happened in his life and mine. We've been through some gigantic pitfalls and ups and downs, not between us, but other things that were happening in our lives, health things, relationship things and other things. And he's a very talented guitar player. He can do so many different things. He understands sound. He's, it's just like on stage, we have two different guitar personas, and Sonny's sound is a much lower mid-range sound, and it has to be executed with a lot of sound changes. I mean, he's tap dancing over there on his MIDI board just to try to get through everything. And it takes a discipline over there. And Sonny has that discipline down. And I know that Sonny, once we hit the stage, I don't have to worry about Sonny. Sonny's going to be just fine the whole show. And I'm a chronic worrier. And Mike and I started out the band together from the beginning. And it was like the first month and a half we'd ever said a word to each other. There was so much alpha male and testosterone in the practice area that like we just didn't talk. And the other original guitar player is the one that put it together, and he was like, I don't know if you two are going to be okay. Well, we had another guitar player one day, and we went outside, and Mike looked at me because I yelled at the other guy. Because I mean, it's just, that happens. It was just that wasn't the right fit. Yeah. And Mike just looked at me and goes, that felt good, didn't it? And I go, yeah. And then we were best friends. It's just never, ever been any different. So Mike is like my brother. I love him. We've been through everything up and down together at that. And Mike is the antithesis guitar player of Sonny. He is the guy that's playing right at the edge of the box, tugging you in and out of perfection. And he has a real raw, it's not a high mid, but it's a higher mid than Sonny. So those two aren't fighting for sound. There's everything is in a different place. My bass is geared so low, it's under everything. The drums come through the middle, they're hard. Sonny's got that lower mid-range and cleanness, and Mike has that harsh, crunchy, and he's always trying to tug you out of the box. So the thing that was magic about this is when I'm writing these songs, I always write the tug of war between the guitar players, because I hate bands that have guitar players that are just playing along with each other. It just,
right.
I don't want to be 80s metal. I don't want to be that. So if you're going to have two guitars, I think they should be doing very different things. And Mike loves doing the swells. He likes being that kind of protagonist that's trying to drag this beautiful thing into another spot that's almost ugly, it's like, but that tug of war creates so much tension in the songs, but it's not our music without it. So, and like I said, when I go to the stage, even when we're sitting backstage, it's us against the world, and we're fine with it. I mean, I just feel like we could do anything we want. We go on stage. We've had a lot of even famous people we played with. They come down after they sit and watch our whole set. And then they're like, wow, it feels good. It feels good. And I know these guys can do it every time. I don't even have to ask. That's how I feel. And I just love these guys. And even today, I think I said Mike, I love you guys.
Oh man, this is getting beautiful. I was
love you, brother.
I think when I met up with Mike recently, we were hanging out because you guys had the pleasure of working with Aaron Hagar recently at the Funny Bone. Yeah. That's how we got back together, because of our buddy Ron Matthews. So
he's the best boy. So, we love him too.
Yeah, it was great to hang out. How did you guys feel about? Let's talk about how you guys felt about doing that.
Incredible. It was a hard sell at first. I brought it to the guys, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, you guys don't understand. I think this is going to be so unique and outside of the box that nobody else in this town has ever done, ever. But we're going to have to play cover songs that are in standard tuning. We still talked to him into letting us do a half step down, which made us feel a little better. But it's like, for us playing 4/4 songs and me holding out the same notes for extended periods of time and stuff like that, it was really a challenge. Like, it was so awkward for us to do that. It wasn't easy for us because we're used to this other feel that just kind of goes wherever. And it's like, we had to learn discipline to just stay on. And we did it. But I mean, it was, I feel it was a pretty good challenge for all of us. And, but we figured it out, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys, I mean, I feel like I represented that pretty accurately, because when I brought it to you guys, you guys were like,
Yeah,
What the hell is that?
I was gonna,
We're doing what? What are we doing?
Sonny, did you
Yeah,
have some of that
I
background with
never
some of
heard
that
of
stuff?
anything like that being done before. Was he wasn't really doing stand up comedy so much as
Mhm.
just just telling us, telling the crowd, everyday family life growing up with dad. But just the
Mhm.
concept of doing, something like that in a comedy club with a live hard rock act at the same time, it was just it was definitely out of the box and out of the ordinary. And it
Mhm.
was definitely awkward. It wasn't just so much the playing the 4/4, but it was, playing a, more, so stuff from the Montrose and Sammy Hagar solo stuff, from the 70s and the 80s and it was just, yeah, completely
Back when
different than
Justin
anything
wasn't
we've done
even born
before.
yet.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Back when Justin
Yeah,
wasn't
stuff
even born
before I was
yet.
even born. So,
Uh,
but yeah, we ended up the event was a total blast though. And
yeah.
Aaron Hagar, he's just as nice and as humble and down to earth and personable as you could ever want him to be.
We're
Just
still
Yeah.
sending text messages to each other. I
yeah,
mean, it's like I really feel like I made a friend. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
we send text about cool things that are going on, and I just
Mhm.
realized, wow, it sounds like out of all that crazy upbringing that could be for most people, it sounds like his father was pretty grounded, all things
Mhm.
considered, and made sure that his son was grounded.
Mhm.
And I don't think that event could have been any better. And the challenge for us is we're this super heavy sound. And you know what? We still got to keep our sounds. We didn't really change our tones or anything. We're just
Mhm.
like, Ron was like, as Ron says, I thought you guys to bring the power. And his hand goes up and I go, I don't even know what that is. But but we just turned up our amps and went for it, and it
Yeah.
felt
Hey
good.
guys, like I gotta drop off here. So you had a question? I thought you were saying something.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you how you felt about that. You can just let us know and then you can take off. Just how you felt about doing that. Like you had to do some of this cover stuff, these, Ronnie Montrose, some of that stuff, and also getting to play the Sammy tracks when normally you're
Yeah,
doing these originals all the time.
yeah. It was like Brian said, it was a challenge, especially trying to learn those solos note for note, those pentatonic solos. After a while, all the pentatonic scales all sound the same, and but they all move differently, and
Mhm.
create different sounds, different phrasing. So you kind of learn those phrasing within those songs. It was a challenge, but it was fun. It was fun. It was very different. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad that we were able to uh, get her done. So
Mhm. Absolutely.
He was the
I
most
think
stressed out of everyone, though. He
I
was the
could
one worried
assume.
about every little sound, every little note.
Well,
yeah,
and there's a lot of those certain songs, there's a lot of signature stuff in there that
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so how signature do I need to be? Because in my band, if there's those songs that were chosen, they have a little bit of wiggle room. So you can always bring something new, just a little bit of something. I never feel like, why do you want to do things just like the record? Because there's it just doesn't allow for anything. It doesn't,
well, for
I
me,
don't want to
yeah,
divert like that. Like when we saw Foreigner live and they took the jukebox hero and did a bunch of stuff with it, and my wife was pissed because she's like, can they just play the song? I love that song. Why do we
Right.
have to hear all this stuff?
It's the
And
curse of original music. I mean, they want to hear the song because
mhm,
that's what they know. And so I mean,
mhm,
it's cool that it's your song, so you get to do your song, but I mean,
right,
you gotta sound like you when you're on that stage. So I mean, that's a big deal. And I feel like
right,
in that show that we still sounded like us, even when we were playing
yes,
other songs,
yeah,
yeah.
playing someone else's songs. I felt like we still sounded true to what we usually sound like. I thought that
Absolutely.
I think that worked out pretty well.
Oh, I definitely would say yes. Being on the side of the stage that I was, yeah, it worked out great.
Last.
I'm gonna
right,
drop
Sonny,
off,
you gotta
guys.
roll, man.
Yeah. Good talking to you guys.
All right, see you,
Great,
Sonny.
great to see you, brother.
See ya.
I look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow
We'll
night.
talk later, brother. Yep.
See you,
See you tomorrow.
So yeah, because we just had Vi and Satch were just in town last night.
Sonny went last night. He was center front row.
Wow. Wow.
He's our socialite. We have like dead center tickets for Judas Priest this weekend.
Oh, we're going too, but I don't have those.
We're right down in front, right in the middle.
Oh.
We always are, man. Sonny always gets these tickets. He's our social butterfly. He's our social connector everywhere.
Definitely.
Everywhere. Yeah. And you know what band he played in before us?
No.
He was the guitar player in the Chinese gospel Christian band at his church.
Oh,
I'm not kidding.
All right.
And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. So he went from there to what we do now. And
wow.
I mean, that's a really incredible part of the story too. He's the right guy. You know, he's the part that we needed, and he was there.
Yeah.
I played drums in the church worship also in high school. When I was in high school, I did that while playing in a half original, half cover, band with some of my, other high school peers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, actually, you'd be surprised. You can learn quite a bit by doing that. I learned a lot of control. Learned how to,
I'm wondering what Justin thought about Mike and what he thinks about Mike and Sonny, because we don't ever get to hear that.
Yeah, no, that I was thinking about that earlier. I'm like, I got to make sure before we're done that we get back to that.
Well,
so go for it, Justin.
Yeah, well, I'll start with Brian, because Brian was the first one that I talked to, and we talked for a good hour, and we both just kind of put our cards on the table. I'm like, look, this is what look for, and I went and checked out. So after I got off the phone, of course, I went and checked out their music, like really checked it out, and I was really impressed. But then there was a couple that really stood out, and then there was the one that, if I hadn't been in a position to audition for the band, if I had just been introduced to the music, if I had heard this, it was the song Intercession. If I had just heard that song, I would have became an instant fan of the band, even without having an audition, because that's how impressed I was. And I talked to my girlfriend. I said, "Hey, babe," so I just got off the phone, with the main songwriter, bassist, singer of this band, and they're really fucking good. I was like, these guys are really got something here. I said, I think, they seem like they're worth checking out. So did. And, I went in there and, just played a couple of their songs. And then they said, just go, play whatever you want. Just go crazy if you want. Just do whatever you want to for a few minutes. And, I definitely, I had a good impression right away from all three, when I first met them.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I was like, man, like, this is definitely a different mix of people than what I was used to. So far. And at the time, I was already in another original band that disbanded a few years ago, but I had was wanting to do another original project. And I wanted one that sounded different, but had the similar understanding of music, of sound. I wanted, the like-mindedness of, I didn't want, none of my, the musicians I was with in the other original project, none of them drank, none of us drank, none of, there was no hard drugs or anything like that involved, and that's what I wanted to keep going. And I also wanted, a band that had its own original sound. I didn't want to be in another band like the one I was already in. I wanted a new experience. And
Gotcha.
when the use of click tracks, interested me. I'm a self-taught drummer, and how I taught myself was I had my drum kit set up in my room, and I had my stereo system behind me. I'd plug in some headphones, turn it up real loud, and play along with songs, which is, that's how I learned how to play. I taught myself hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs.
Wow.
And which, in a sense, is, it's just like playing along with a metronome click track. So, and I'd had a little bit experience playing with a click track and a metronome briefly in an industrial metal band. So I was like, yeah, sure. I was all about it. Whatever. I'm a drummer. The first thing I look for when I hear a band is I want to hear precision. I want to hear it tight. I want to hear it in the pocket. And then I want to hear everything in key.
And once he got it with us, he put the cans on. He never takes them off, so you can't hear us.
Oh yeah, that's my it's like it's almost like,
and not just like in ears, like full cans. Like
At first it was weird.
Head cans, so he can't hear.
It's kind of like when you're kind of being institutionalized
with
anything. It's like first it's awkward. You might hate it a little bit. Then you get used to it. Then you get to the point where you depend on it. And you don't ever want to but it blocks out a lot of sound and noise too, and it's just enough because we're a very loud band. My bandmates play the top of the line powerful equipment, so it's nice because it blocks out a lot of that noise, but I can still hear everything perfectly. It's like they provide just like the perfect balance. This band, I was really, really relieved when, I was first getting to know them, when I found out they're focused on their tone. Because, you can if you got a good recording engineer, sound engineer, you can get a good sounding record, but that doesn't mean that the band necessarily knows about tone and the importance of it.
True.
That was something that, I quickly learned with these guys, is that they're very serious and pay close attention to their tone, which was, a big seller for me as well. But,
and we had,
I figured, everything, the things I wanted, were there. The different things. I wanted something different than the other band, but something that would push me to grow in other direction.
Yeah.
This is what happens to drummers. Drummers never get to talk, ever.
Well, that's probably for the better, anyways.
Sometimes we don't know. We love them though.
Well,
sometimes I might surprise you.
I have two questions for you, Justin. First of all, have you seen the "Who Are You" video by the Who?
Oh yeah, I love the Who.
He's got the headphones taped to his head.
Yeah.
Secondly, tell everybody some of the. I was really impressed when we had a chance to sit and talk while we were having a breaking bread there at the rehearsal. About some of those. Just name off some of those bands that you listened to in your room and practiced, because that's what really kind of surprised me, I suppose, or
it was basically all the rock bands. When I was a teenager in high school, it was in the later part of the 90s. And this was when alternative rock and grunge was still kind of popular. I didn't want anything to do with that. I didn't get into that until I was in my 20s. All I listened to was what my parents listened to, the 60s and 70s rock. So it was Pink Floyd, I was huge into Led Zeppelin. I was huge into Van Halen. Yes was a band I was big into. I had virtually no social life in high school. Every day I played drums after school. On the weekends, I played drums every day. After church, I'd come home on Sunday and play drums. It completely consumed me. I had no interest in a social life, but it was Boston, Creedence Clearwater Revival, The Doors, Foreigner, Journey, Genesis, Phil Collins, Pink Floyd, Moody Blues, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, on and on, Toto, all those bands, Asia, the list goes on. I could go on all day, But in
Great drummers
particular,
in those bands.
my biggest influences those early years, I would say, was definitely Led Zeppelin, Yes, and Van Halen. I played those three just religiously.
Wow.
And it's what's weird is I write all of our music, I do all that, but I only connect with like a couple different bands, and I don't listen to music. I don't really listen to music hardly ever, and there's only a couple bands I've ever really spent any time listening to. The band I've spent the most time listening to in my life is because of the spiritual connection with their music, which is King's X. I can listen to King's X. I know every one of their songs, word for word, every inflection that Doug has. I've met Doug and Ty and Jerry several times in my life. Be a fact, at one of their shows at Mississippi Nights, they actually took at the time, my 6-year-old son, Ben. Doug reached down and picked him up in the middle over my head when he kind of does his sermon in the middle of the song. He had my 6-year-old on his hip talking about the future of the world is in our hands. And we were actually leaving the venue. The first time I actually got to really sit and talk to those guys, we were leaving the venue and security came and got us. It was on a school night. I had to convince my ex to let me take my kindergartner out on a school night to go to a King's X show. And we did. But they had security bring us back, and we went into the room, and that's when I really got to meet Doug for the first time. And I just connected with that music so much. And I connected with some of the early Tool. I got that. There's some things like that I really connected to. I connected to Johnny Cash. I connected to the weird things, but I'm more connected to Russian symphonies. Just the darkness and the power of that. I mean, I don't listen to music during the day, so it's a rarity that I'm listening to music, but I also feel like I have a kind of a tabula rasa. I've got a clean slate in my head when I write because I don't hear all the other noise. I just, whatever comes out, comes out. And I mean, these guys in my band, they've all listened to all, like Sonny listens to everything. And Mike was huge into Sabbath and UFO and all of these other bands. And like, people always go, man, I know nothing about Sabbath. I really don't. And we've met Geezer Butler a million times. He lived over in Chesterfield. He used to come into Weiss Music up to Parker all the time when I was younger. So he'd be in the store, get a jam with him a little bit and stuff. I didn't know who he was.
And he used to go to the comic shop out there.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you this right now. I met the guy half a dozen times before Parker goes, dude, I think Geezer really likes you. And I go, who's Geezer? And he goes, that's the bass player for Black Sabbath. I'm like, what's he doing in here? You know, it's like, I know he married a girl from Chesterfield and lived out off of Baxter Road, you know?
Yeah.
My relationship with music is different than most musicians. I almost have a battle with it. Like, I love that I can express things I feel through it, but I also have a hatred for it because it's kind of like prison too. I mean, it's like, does that make sense?
Explain.
If you learn to do it and then it becomes a part of you, which it has been for my life for over 40 years, it's kind of like a prison too, because you're married to something you can't escape from. And even when I escaped from it for 15 years, my wife, just on a chance, she said, did you ever play music? Because I had a room full of pianos, drums, bass. You know, I had a room with $100,000 worth of stuff sitting in it. And, oh, yeah, I used to play. I used to do some touring. I used to do some cool stuff. You know, it's like, and then I got back in. And at first it was like very fun. And then it has the ups and downs where it's like all this exhilaration. And then it's like the ball and chain. I can't escape it. And so as I'm getting older, I'm finding a way to balance it to where I really am grateful that I get to still do it. But it's for me, it's tumultuous for me. And for Sonny, who really loves music, for Justin, who really loves music, Mike really loves music. Maybe that's the secret to our relationship, is that I'm writing them music to play, and then they get to obviously turn it into their stuff too. But we have that system. They don't write music and bring it in. They don't. I'm the principal songwriter, and they trust me. So when I bring in the stuff, that's what we work on. And it's our system, and we have peace in that.
He plays the riff, and I come up with the drum parts.
And that's what we try to do. And it's like, in a lot of other original bands, they don't last for a minute because it's a clown car. I can't tell you how many original I hear. When you listen, it's like, maybe they got 10 tracks, like 3 of them sound like this, 4 of them sound like something totally different. And there's no identifiable connector in the music, a sound, the identifiable sound. Alice in Chains. They hit their first note, it's Alice in Chains. And I really feel like when you listen to our music, you can feel that. It's us. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes people are so busy trying to be so over the top creative, they forget that they're supposed to be writing something real. And that's where I won't disconnect from that. But again, my relationship with music is very tumultuous compared to what most people are, like the singing aspect, which we've talked about. I hate singing. I really don't like to sing. And these guys will tell you, I will literally go out of my way to make sure that we don't sing. But most of the time, if we record a song, they don't hear any of the words until they hear me sing it the first time in the studio. And I don't sing between gigs at practice.
He doesn't sing at rehearsals ever. And then when we show up on stage, I don't even warm up. I just go out. I let it loose. I let that beast out of me. And then we pack up our gear and I go home and go to bed. And I'm fine with that. It's the way that I've learned how to cope with that part of my life, that part of me. And I mean, it sounds kind of strange, and I'm sure it sounds crazy, but it's
unique.
There's a normal me, and then there's that me. And that me is a different creature. And once we get up there to the stage, I'm a different creature. And then when I'm done with that, I'm back to this guy. And it's just
so you do fall into that kind of I always think of Ozzy when I think about that, because Ozzy, Alice Cooper, that whole thing where it's like, that's who I am there. It's got really socially, it's got nothing to do with who I am over here.
Right.
It's just a persona that I'm not faking. I'm not putting it on. It just becomes me when I get up there. When I have to do this job, this is who I am.
Yeah. Every person has so many facets to who they are and what they are. They do. Several facets. And that's one of mine. I feel a bigger facet of my life is how much I love my kids. I love spending all my time with my boys and building a koi pond and doing other stuff. But that part of me is that very deep, dark feeling part of me that I don't think everybody can understand. And that's really how I've dealt with those dark things in my life, has been to write it down, pound it out, be super loud about it, and come at you. And don't apologize for being that, and just be that.
Yep.
And it helps me cope with that portion of who I am. And I think all of us have that. I think every person, I don't think that that's subjectively so different from anybody. Everybody has that person they are at work, or the person they are at home with their kids, or the person they are at church, or for whatever they do in their life. That's just one part of me, and I feel like it's been the greatest gift I've ever had given to me from wherever it comes from, to be able to share that and just do that. And frankly, I don't care. I don't care if I'm ever a rock star. I don't want to be a rock star. I just want to sing my song. And I don't even like to sing, but I want to say what I got to say in front of people. And I'm done with it. It's like, it's crazy.
Well, but
it's
like you say, you kind of built your prison. You have to just do your best within that.
You do. And you have to mean it. And if you mean it, people will listen. And that was, the hardest thing about this band. When I started writing these songs, they're dark, they're heavy, they're about deep stuff. And I'm thinking, who the hell's going to listen to that? So I thought,
right.
Okay, cool thing here is, like, maybe my friends from high school show up like once a year. I'll have a gig and they'll go like, congrats, buddy. You're still doing it.
Love it, bro.
Yeah, great job, buddy. But now it's different, and it's like, I just watched the first gig and it was weird. The beginning of the gig, we played the first song, and I think people didn't know what to think because it was so different from everything else.
Yeah.
And then we played the second song, and they got up and they started coming towards the stage. It was at Just Bill's, that little tiny club in Overland. And I still remember the pole in the middle of the stage. I had to work around that.
Oh, yeah.
And Robin's super nice guy out there. And but by the fourth or fifth song, they were all standing smushed up against the stage and letting us know what they thought about it. And it was like, and I just watched from there as it escalated very quickly to getting played on the radio and different things happen. I just go, oh my God, the secret is all I have to do is tell the truth.
Yeah.
I don't have to try to be cool. I don't have to try to write these little pieces of riffs that like sound cool and make people think I'm cool. You know, it's like, I just got to get up here and tell the truth. That feels so good. And even if it's not someone else's truth, I get to tell the truth about what I feel like. And it's just like, it just purges your soul. Your soul just gets to let go. And I just let it go. And that's the intensity. It's just, I'm purging my soul. I'm purging everything I have inside of me every time I do that. And maybe that's why I don't want to do it all the time. Maybe that's why I just want to do it when I'm on the stage. And maybe that makes sense now. Thanks for that. How much do I owe you for this session?
You get it in the mail.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
Of course, it'll be email because I want it there fast because I want my money.
I'm employed. We're good. I think I can cover it.
I'm just glad I can help. Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing that that we still have this connection as musicians, and we know it's like when you're a little iffy about something, and I remember seeing Sonny right before you guys went on stage when we did this gig with Aaron, and he was like, "What about starting with that song? What do you think?" I said, "It's great." I'm like, "What do you feel?" He goes, I think it's the right one to do. But I was like, you know what, dude? If everybody's on and you know what you're doing, just sell it, because it really doesn't matter. What really matters is that you're up there. And I don't mean that in a plastic way. I just mean that in a way that get up there and give it what you got.
Yeah.
Be ready to do it and sell it and mean it. And they don't care. I saw, we're talking about Judas Priest. I saw that Turbo tour and they opened with Out in the Cold, a ballad.
Yeah.
But they sold it. I mean, it was killer. And I'm like,
I was
at
that concert, man. I'm telling you, and people cursed that album because it was supposedly the sellout. I tell you what, there's some songs on that.
Point of Entry wasn't bad enough. I mean,
they're just beautiful. They're beautiful. And it's kind of like people would, like, I've never listened to Metallica. Now, since I've gotten in band like this, I hate to say this, but people will say, I hate the Black Album. Why? Because it sounds good? I mean, there was this like, And Justice for All. I'm like, that album sounds like utter crap. It's like, it's recorded horribly. It doesn't even make sense. And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't hate music. If it sounds good, it doesn't, I mean, but that's the beauty of music. To everyone, it's a different thing. It means something different.
A little different.
Every person. So it's, so all of this, and at that particular show, there was a challenge because we had one channel. I thought we had a small mixing board where we'd have at least 6 channels and a normal kind of PA, but we didn't. So we had to use our amps, and we had one microphone. So everything everybody heard there was coming through a very minimal PA and just our rigs, just jamming.
Wow.
And, it felt pretty fun, dude. And I don't feel that it sounded bad on any level. And I heard back some recordings from a lot of people, and it sounded great in that room. So
it did.
You know what? Raw and just there, boom, no stem, no nothing. We just just pounded out. And we picked the first song as really one that it's pretty heavy. I was like, well, we're either going to kill them or they're going to love us. I don't know which one it's going to be yet, but let's
go. Well, it was great. It was great. And like you said, I think the energy, getting that really cool vibe from Aaron and him being so down to earth, was a lot of fun. And Justin, you mentioned about how he was just talking about his life and you didn't know if it was going to be a comedic thing that was happening, but it was more about his life, which to us, it's kind of cool when you talk about somebody like Sammy Hagar as your dad, because
Right.
it is ultimately, it's kind of funny to think, holy shit, this guy's dad is Sammy Hagar. So
Right.
for us, it's kind of wild.
And
And
he looks just
anything you
like him.
tell us,
He looks just
yes,
like him. So we're sitting there
yes,
talking to him. It's like, it's not like, and his dad really, honestly, is a legitimate rock star. This guy's been
yeah,
successful in so many projects as the front man. And I'll argue to this day, he took Van Halen to a whole different level, a
sure did.
successful commercial level that was way different than the David Lee Roth era. And people will fight me about it. Let's fight about it. But I remember the year I graduated high school in 86.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only album I think all my friends listened to for like a year. Every one of those songs was bona fide something you could repeat and was more than just like, I'm drinking some whiskey and finding chicks. It wasn't that. It was different. It had more connection. And I will say, he's a relevant rock star to this day, even in his 70s.
Absolutely.
This guy is relevant, and he's just that.
Absolutely.
Today, ironically, Hollywood Walk of Fame, he got his star today. And,
thanks for bringing that up.
You got to say, and Aaron's right there. Son's right there. He made a post, and I commented on it, and Aaron, got back to it and stuff. And I'm just thinking, there's a family, and I can identify with that because I have my babies, and my babies are at you saw my babies are at my gig. They're just walking around. They're just like, oh, that's just my dad doing his thing. It's just, that's beautiful, man. That's something they can share, and again, with him. And the thing that's funny is I really just wanted to get to know who Aaron was because I know who his dad is. I mean, look, click on the internet anywhere. You can hear Sammy talking about everything, So I know who that is. I just was wondering, and when I knew it was the right decision to do this with Ron gave me, hooked me up to like message with Aaron. Aaron sent me his cell phone. He's like, give me a call. And I did.
Yeah.
And he answered. And we had a great conversation. It was just like, he's like, man, I'm so appreciative. Thank you for doing this. I can't thank. And I'm like, no, this is awesome. Just tell me what to do. And then I didn't want to bother him. So I tried not to communicate as much as possible because I'm like, this poor guy is probably, because of his dad, he's getting lit up everywhere in his life. But I realized he has really formed his own life with cars and his paintings and the stuff that he does. I'm just like, this guy's really not any different than me. He's not really any different than Mike or anybody else. And it's like, and it just really became, and then when we finally met him, we were in the middle of rehearsing when you guys walked in and we didn't expect him for another 20 minutes or whatever. And it just felt like all of a sudden you guys are just hanging out, and we're just still playing some music. And then we ate some barbecue and we hung out and had some good conversations. And then it just continued on. And dude, how many guys get this? You know what I mean? And I just knew though, after the first time I talked to him, that I had really made a good decision to drag these guys into this show.
Yes.
And I mean, to this day, I think it's probably maybe one of the best decisions we've ever made as a band to do that show.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of those decisions on faith that we make where you're just like, I don't know, this feels like something that would be great. It seems like, and like you said, it's a reputable, what do I want to say? It's all tied to a reputable situation. You're sitting here going, this guy's a great guy. Of course, his dad's an amazing rock star. And there's things that we pull today that are based off of what he's done in the past, as far as connecting with a crowd and knowing, how to not act a twat, on certain things. And so,
and I think our experience having opened for tons and tons of nationals is that we're not the band that's back there trying to bug them and stuff. I mean, it's like, if you're lucky enough to be an original band, you get to open for nationals. Be a pro. Just get your gear on stage, get your gear off stage. You're there to warm up the room for them.
Yep.
The show's about them. And
yeah.
so many bands want to make everything about them. No, just get up there, get the room cooking, get off the stage and enjoy the moment. And, you know, don't overwhelm people with favors and stuff. And don't expect people to treat you like a king. That's not what you're there for. They're a musician. They're this, that, the other. You are. Go out there and kick some ass. Do a good enough job that they want to. You look over the side of the stage and they're watching you do your set. That's how you know if the band is doing okay. If you look over and the headliner is watching you play, something's gone right. And you know what? Be humble about it and like express your gratitude to him after the show.
Absolutely.
And those relationships flourish from that. You know, there's so many people that think like if you owe them for a national, like that makes you cool. It doesn't make you cool. It doesn't make you anything. You're just getting an opportunity, you know, and hopefully you're going to show some gratitude to have done that show, you know, and you get to say, cool, it was really fun to open up for that band or this band or that band. And you get to see, you get for a moment to get a peek at like maybe what you could do better as a band. Like maybe how they handle a crowd, like maybe how they handle the people behind the scenes. 99% of those situations are very positive when we open. Once in a while, you'll have a turd in the punch bowl. And we've talked about that. We won't expand on that, but it's like, you just be for real, just be genuine, be for real. They're just people. They're trying to figure out what they're eating for dinner because they're getting rushed around all day. You know, just live in the moment, have the beautiful moment. Don't think you're special because of the moment. It's just be
right.
You're there, you're part of this thing, and just be a part of it. And go home and remember, you're still the same old chubby old dude that's going to go to bed in his undies at night. Who cares, you know? Be an animal on stage, man. At nighttime, I'm so glad to go to bed. It's not even funny.
Isn't it though? Oh man, you get home after a gig and you're like, just get me in.
Done. Get me in the shower. Go to bed. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
It takes me a long time to shake off the adrenaline and I typically will stay up pretty late after a show. I might probably stay up the latest out of all four of us after a gig. I mean, I'll go to bed at 3-4 o'clock in the morning after a gig because I'm just up and because I'm
I
up
used to do that when I was about your age when I started.
What's that?
I used to do that when I was about your age when I first started playing out. I was like, okay. And I'd say the same thing. You know, when I get home, I got energy left and I can't just go straight to bed. Now I'm like, if they could just have a hot dog or a piece of pizza, like stuck to the wall on my way to bed, I'd just be like, thank you.
If we're out of town.
So anyway, go ahead.
We will find somewhere to eat for late at night. And then in the morning, we'll have my wife will scout whatever city we're going to and find like the mom and pop breakfast place that like where everybody who lives there will go eat breakfast. And we go eat. So that's like the best part of the trip. And going in and turning the AC down to like 50 in the room. So it's like ice cold in the room to go to bed. And, you know, we enjoy that stuff, but it's like, the funny thing is with this band too, and no other band I've ever been in, after the gig, when we're all driving home, the text starts shooting on our thread back and forth. And it's just like all four of us like saying, man, what a great night. That was so much fun. Like, and talking to each other like we do like brothers, like, guys, thanks for just being awesome tonight. Handling this, you know, at that show with Ron, it was like we got there and we realized we didn't have anything but one channel. But instead of us stressing out and going, oh shit, what are we going to do? It was like, okay, cool. We'll just turn up the amps a little more. It's going to be fine. You know, just that's the difference with this band is like, I'm not going to stress out. We're just going to go do our thing. Just do your thing.
Right.
Play your set. My buddy Mike Kreidel taught me that early on too. He's he's a great musician, you studio musician and stuff. He's just play your set. So that's what I think. Every time we're gonna do it, play our set, kick some ass. Who cares?
We're
gonna wait
for
So Justin, I didn't want to cut you off
none of
earlier.
us really in the band are like, we've not really been a party band anyways. We all pretty much, we're all family men. We go, we all go home and go to bed. Like I might stay up late, but I'm not up partying. I like to sit up and read. That's what I usually end up doing to just kind of wind down. Is I end up going home and my cat curls up in my lap and I read a book. Like that's how I party after a show.
What kind of stuff do you read?
I read mostly nonfiction. I like to. I'm real big into archaeology, Egyptology.
Wow.
I'm also into American railroads, American railroad history, trains, and model trains. But I'm into a lot of different kind of stuff. But yeah, pretty much I read a lot. I rarely even turn my TV on during the week. Usually it's only on the weekends my TV ever gets used. I read a lot.
Do you like those iconic moments in the Addams Family where he's got the model train and he blows up the bridge and the train goes down?
Oh, I love that. That part's like one of the best parts of the movies.
I do love model trains though. There's something about building a landscaping, letting it go, and then you just wow,
I don't know. That's pretty expensive. I definitely.
Oh, it is.
I wouldn't want to do that. That stuff's not
well, that's
cheap.
when you make your own world.
My childhood best friend and I are building a small train layout in his basement, and that stuff ain't cheap. Luckily, I mean, we had pretty much everything from when we were kids already, just in boxes. We had to take it out and just do all the scenery and stuff on it. But yeah, it's just like what Brian was saying earlier. Each of us has a lot of different things that we do aside from band that we really enjoy doing. So
Sonny has
model trains
a channel with like millions of views, millions,
right?
Like 5 million views on his guitar lesson channel on YouTube and stuff. Wow. And Mike likes to go fishing, has his farm down in another part of Missouri. Justin has all the stuff he does, his model train building and stuff. Me, like I'm a huge collector of like musical instruments and firearms, and I teach like firearm safety. I'm big into like Second Amendment. I'm into politics. I'm into all kinds of things, and we all just have these different things that propel us in the other parts of our life, So it's kind of nice where we can do what we do together. Mm-hmm. And these guys tolerate me. I'm a lot to deal with. I promise you. I have and I mean, I'm not pushy or anything with anybody like that. It's like keeping up with someone who's just constantly in movement. I'm sure that it's, hey guys, I got this idea.
Same with my band. Same with my guys with me. Yeah.
Bass players.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, usually it's not the only writer in the band either, except for I don't write music lyrics. I'm mostly like short story and poetry, and I actually waiting to hear on my first magazine article. Waiting to hear back when my first magazine article will be published. It's a model train magazine at that, but writing is one of my bigger outlets too. Definitely, I write a lot. Definitely like the short stories. Like to write short stories, poetry. I'm a big Emily Dickinson and Edgar Allan Poe fan, amongst others. But those two are my Edgar Allan Poe for short story. Don't care for his poems so much, but Emily Dickinson, when it comes to poetry, you're hard pressed to find anybody better. Like somebody that truly understands, like truly gets it. Like when I read her stuff, it's like she understands what it is to be a true poet. She gets it, and it's not necessarily a light place either. You sometimes come from some dark places to get that kind of creativity, but most any brilliant creative mind that's ever lived, be they a musician or a painter or a sculptor or a writer, they had some kind of dark past or some kind of dark entity that they had.
creativity.
What's that?
It's the demons in your head,
Right.
That breed the fondness.
Right.
It's a strange thing. I had a very rough childhood, so it's like just rough circumstances as a family and that, and you never get past that. I mean, so you find your coping mechanism, and that's kind of it. And it's better than becoming a serial killer. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah. I think there's some people that learned. You've just stepped into a whole big thing that becomes pretty complex, but pretty simple at the same time if you just keep your head about it. There are bad things that happen. Everybody's got their thing, right? But
the Odyssey is the greatest thing in the world to write about. The Odyssey is really
right
the basis of most life. I mean, people always are striving to have this fairness about existence, and existence is not about fairness. It's not about if you do good things happen to you. That's not how the universe works. So a lot of the stuff I write about is the Odyssey. It's I think if you're going to write, you have to have a brain. And I mean, I've been very fortunate. I'm around 3 guys that are pretty intelligent guys,
Sounds, yes, right.
It's always, I see so many interviews, and of course we're handling, this is probably a different interview for you than a lot of the ones you probably have. But I mean, a lot of interviews as a band, we're kick ass, man, bro. We're going to go have we're busy tearing up the hotel. It's like, we're not that band.
Yeah, no, most of them were pretty close like this.
And
yeah.
And I think it's cool. Everybody should just be whatever they are. And that's great. It's just, but we're a different band. And I'll tell you what, I love, like this week, we've had all these storms.
Yeah.
I'm that dude. The tornado's outside. I'm outside trying to find it. I want to find it.
Yep.
I want to see it. I want to step into it. It's just part of me. That's how I feel connected to this earth. It's like other people are all like jet boats and sunshine, and I'm not that guy. So
yeah,
I don't love song. Everybody's like, is there going to be a love song? No. There's no love song in me. I'm sorry. There's not going to be one of those.
There's going to be I love that song, but not a love song.
There's no love song. Not in Divine Sorrow. I mean, I think the name of the band implicates that, correct?
Speaks for itself.
Like if I ever run, like a couple times we run into a couple friends like, aren't you going to write something happy? I'm like, I kind of think if you actually read the name of the band, I've kind of already told you that. Am I crazy?
Sunshine and Roses.
I get asked if we're a Christian, if we're a Catholic Christian band a lot because of the name.
That's the hardest thing in this band is that we'll have a group of people in front of us. Like half of them think that we're like Antichrist, like just totally like, just against religion, then the other ones think like maybe we're a Christian band. And then the other ones are just like, think we're somewhere in between. I mean, most of the stuff I write about is kind of our spiritual battle as a human with our creator. Good, the bad, the indifferent, the duplicities, the things that don't make sense, again, the odyssey of what all this is. That's the majority, the pejorative of my subject matter, because it's the majority of my thought processes in real life, no matter what part of my life I'm in. So it's different. And again, when you're being creative, you got to go. It took me till I was in my 40s to figure out that that's my truth. Again, say your truth. That's what people really want to hear. They really do. And it's just like, and it's still to this day. And I've told these guys, every time we have a bill we're on, it's like, cool, we're the heaviest band again. We're the heaviest, darkest band on this bill. And it's like, this is going to be a disaster, and then we play the show and it's not a disaster. So it's just hard because sometimes you're playing with a band that's like playing like folk music and you're like, I feel like I'm on Spinal Tap. We're just going to be like, it's going to be a disaster. And it isn't. So I don't.
Yeah, my first professional band was a 3-piece, and we had this drummer that was very thunderous, and he's passed years ago now, but very thunderous. We played Black Sabbath and Rush and,
Yeah.
Robin Trower. We played all this heavy stuff, and he got us booked in his hometown for a Valentine's Day dance.
Right.
And I'm like, so we're setting up. I go, do they know what they're getting? You did tell them what they're getting.
Do they know what's going to happen?
They all just, I don't know. It was a weird gig, man.
We did a show the week before, okay, at our friend's club, and we always play out there. But it's like, by the time we go on stage, they've been listening to cover songs all day. We're the only original band, and they're drunk. Wow. They've been drinking all day at this thing, and they just, and half of them are like a lot older and stuff, and they just want to dance and be happy, and then we're like, cool, we're just gonna peel your face off for the next hour, and
back to the cover songs.
Right, and you're just like,
you're like the heavy palate cleanse for these people.
We're the dark reality that just hit them in the head in the middle of them being hammered. It's like we're the ones that are like going, I'm having the best time driving this Ferrari 100. It's like, God damn it, we're the cop that's pulling you over. And that's what it turns into. It's like, I don't know.
Hey,
you're gonna DUI.
And the people just stop, they stop dancing and they just kind of like just stare. It's almost like, like half of them probably sober up listening to our music.
And it's so I remember looking at the guys on stage, I'm going, oh my God. Well, thank God we only have 40 more minutes to go.
We're the heaviest plate of crackers these drunks are ever going to eat up. Slow it down.
But then they're sitting there watching, and then when you get done, all over you saying, oh my God, that was incredible. It's like, cool, you could have been closer to the stage so I didn't feel like I was in hell, so it's all good.
I've been there too.
Oh, it's like the longest hour of your life. And you love the club. You love the guy that owns it. And like, whenever we play shows there where we're the headliner and we get to bring in a band or two to play with us, totally different thing. But you don't know if your crowd is like a crowd that wants to dance and sing 80s metal.
Right.
I mean, there's only so much I'm going to be able to accommodate that and help it.
Well, so if you ever need us to throw in on one of those, let us know.
Absolutely. You know what? Because you and I are buddies now. And I will say, everybody, if anybody's listening, I just want to say this. Stu has religiously tried to keep up with me all week. My truck went down. Everything has been just crazy the last 2 weeks. And Stu, every day religiously, he's like texting me and calling me. And I'm like, you caught me. I'm at Home Depot getting $1 billion worth of stuff, and I don't even know this store. And he's like, today I felt bad. He's like, now remember, are you ready for the show? I'm like, when's the show? He goes, at 4:00. I'll figure this out.
I was like, all I need to know is, are you doing the show? That's really what I need to know now.
If I say I'm going to do it, I'll do it for sure. And these guys, I always manage. But I'm just like, and then I got home. My kids are like, hey, Dad. I'm like, I'm going upstairs to my room. I'm changing clothes. I'm shutting the door. I'll see you guys in a while. And they're like, cool, we got lacrosse. We'll see you later. It all worked out. The first worked out.
So perfectly. There. That's great. That is outstanding. So, so then let's do a quick run, and I can let you guys get rolling here. I'm going to get ready for the next thing that happens tonight and let you guys get to what you got so that you're ready when they get home. Real quick, then the albums that they should look for, I'm looking on the website and I see Tales of Dissension. I do have one. I have this one.
Yeah, so, 7 Deadly. That's the second one.
Yeah. So then, and then you have The Far Beneath.
The Far Beneath happened as my father passed away.
Okay.
So there is a certain melancholy that comes along with becoming the patriarch of a family. It is a job application you never wanted to apply for. And I'm the oldest. So, you know, when you have a person like my father, who honestly, I could have never done music without, you know, we were a family, didn't have anything. We didn't have money. We didn't have anything. My father did everything he could. He worked, you know, all day, all night, whatever it took to keep the roof over our head. And I wanted to play guitar so badly. And when I was probably about 12, my grandmother, I was down on Cherokee Street, and there's a place called Southside Music inside there. It was a little tiny hole in the wall. And my grandma paid like $150 for me to get this Electro Working Man, which is a Les Paul copy. However, it was a very good Japanese made one. And I started playing on that. And I didn't even have a good amp. I had this little crappy amp and whatever. And we really didn't have money for anything. And I just remember my dad came home once when I was 13. And he said, "We're going to Dale's Music." And he's like, "We're going to get you a guitar and an amp." And I'm thinking, well, maybe I just need an amp. You know, because when you don't have anything, you are always thinking of the collective, my little brothers, my parents. There's other more important things than me wanting to be a guitar player. Yeah. And my father bought me a brand new Fender Stratocaster and a PV Renown amp. I have recently located a PV Renown amp, and I bought it off of Marketplace from someone. So I have that amp sitting downstairs, and it's like, it feels so amazing to have had one put back into my life. But it came out to be like $1,300 for this. And this is back when I was 13. This is back in like early 80s, 83. Jeez. And I mean, that was a lot of money. Yeah. And I remember looking at my dad. I hope I don't get emotional about this, because it really does bring up a lot inside of me. I asked my dad how he did it. And he said, "I haven't eaten lunch for the last year."
Oh, shoot.
He goes, "Every day at work for lunch, the few dollars I was going to spend to eat, I just put it away somewhere where nobody knew I had it. And look what it took to. Look what that did to my life. 41 years, you know, well, God, more than that now, 45 years. I'm sorry, 43 years later.
Dude.
It opened this whole side of me that helped me release all of my childhood, all of the darkness. Yeah. He gave me a gift. And I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew what that was. I don't think he knew how gigantic that is. I don't think he knows how that changed my whole life, and like what I've done to it now. When my dad came and saw us play for like the All-American Rejects, there's like 50,000 people there.
Wow.
One of the only times I saw my father ever sit and see me play. He called me that night and he just said, "Wow. I'm so proud of you."
Outstanding.
That was it. And, you know, I don't think he realized, even though he knew, he was just trying to be a good dad. But look now. I mean, look at everything I've accomplished, even in later years here. All the things that, and no, we're not rock stars. We're not famous. But it's like, but I've done a whole bunch of stuff that a lot of other musicians have never gotten a chance to do. And I've done it honestly. I haven't done it trying to be a showboat and trying to be something other than what I really am. And
right.
It's amazing how one thing can change your life, you know. And that guitar and my dad's love for me changed my life, and I still have it this day. And I'm still trying to find out what the one thing is for my children, so I can do that for them. So you know, that's literally what that's the purpose of my life now. I mean, it's just
Well,
amazing what this can do for you.
yeah. Yeah. And I think, the one thing I think about is something I don't think that I don't see it happening enough in that way, where you're like, get down to brass tacks with your kids. Don't try to be the end all be all and not be a human being, and not look at your son and go, dude, I'll tell you what I did to do this. Not so that I go, look how awesome I am that I did that, but so that that when you have that same situation, what you're willing to give up in order to make sure that you have a happy, good place for your kids. So he wasn't looking to be a rock star, right?
No.
We, as dads, we want to be rock star dads, not anything to do with doing the performing. We just want to be the rock stars to our kids, right?
Right.
And
you want your kids to grow up someday and go, I didn't wish for anything more than I had. You want to feel like you were able to fulfill every facet of their life.
Right.
To where they never felt they needed something. And it's just so hard to explain that. And I don't want my kids to be me. I want them to be them. And I want to figure out what that thing is that makes them that person. And what can I do to facilitate that? But just the sheer nature of beauty. And I'll lead into just a very quick story from that. Even when I was a kid, my dad knew I wanted to play guitar. I was 10. I was standing in the bathroom on top of the edge of the tub in front of this huge mirror with this little plastic fake guitar that had little plastic strings. It was nothing. I was jamming along to Kiss songs. And my dad, being Southern Baptist, Kiss was like, no, but my dad never said anything. And I was in there and I was just jamming away with this little tiny radio that had one little speaker. And my dad opens the door and he's like, what in the is going on in here? And I go, Dad, someday I'm going to jam on stage with Ace Frehley. And when I do, I'm going to invite you.
Yes.
He looks at me crazily and he goes, okay.
He
goes, and if you do, and he, as a father would do, he goes, and you know what? If you do, I'll be there. So here's where it gets weird. My dad passes. He passes. He's 66 years old, dies in his sleep. Not even a month later, I get a phone call. Hey, I represent a guy. He's heard your music. Would you like to open for him? And I said, can I ask who it is? It's Ace Frehley. So it's crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we go to open the show for Ace Frehley. And there's a moment in the middle of the whole set where all of a sudden it's just like, and we play the song I wrote for my dad the day after he died called Ashes. I play it on stage. It's not a happy song. It's not something that's going to make the room go, oh, Jesus. We played the song and it went over amazing. But I turned around as we started playing the opening notes and I looked back and I just felt it rain down on me. It was just so powerful. And it's like,
yeah.
And he was there.
Yeah.
And, the thing that's strange is you get to live these things. And again, part of it is if you're being honest, if you're really being truthful with your music, you can have those moments and those things are going to be impactful. They're going to change your life. Yeah. That's why I'm okay with just being Divine Sorrow, kind of. People know who we are, but we're not famous, but we're honest and we are exactly what we are. And it's been a friggin' great ride. And then having my brothers that I love like this and having people like you or friends that support us and guys like Ron Matthews who helps us and all these other people have been a part of our life.
Yeah.
What a fucking ride. This is
been. Absolutely.
And that's
absolutely.
That's what it should be about.
Yeah, and I think I really love the fact that you brought that up about your dad being there, where I think a lot of times we lose track of the fact that those, yeah, we may be close to our parents and close to those people or anybody it is that's close to us, and if that we lose, and we're like, Justin, I know you dealt with that recently. We talked about that, and yet at the same time, we got to remember that those people leave something with us. So not only are they always there because of that, but it depends on how you feel spiritually as well. But I think even outside of just one avenue, I think we can all say that those people are somewhere and they are watching and they are there.
And even if for some reason they're not, everything they ever said to you, everything they ever did for you is right there inside of you. So what I have found, the tool I found in my life, and I recently had to explain this to Mike because Mike just lost his dad a few weeks ago. When I need to hear him or anybody that I cared about, I learned to shut up, find some place where there's no noise, and listen. Everything that person ever said to you, ever gave you, is inside of you. And if you shut up long enough and listen hard enough, you'll hear the answer you're looking for because they already gave it to you. So it's kind of like, that's how I'm living my life. And I think part of that is getting to be, as you get older, you realize your hourglass is thinning out. What do you leave behind now? So what are you going to do? What's the person you're going to be from here out? Are you going to leave behind beautiful things for the rest of the world? Is that what you're going to do? Or are you going to live your whole life like a selfish asshole and party yourself till the end? And it's all about you. Which one, what do you want to do? And look, everybody's entitled to do what they want to do. I just know
absolutely
that my story hopefully is going to be something different than that. And I feel like I'm surrounding myself with those kind of people. And that's where I want to go. That's what I want to do. So, and the ultimate glory of all this is my kids are very young. They're 11 and 9. My oldest one's 35. I got a 28-year-old. I got grandbabies that are 4 and 2. But them and my 2 young boys that were at the show the other night, I'm not going to be around forever. But the coolest thing about this, if they ever want to hear my voice now, I've left them something. They can just hit play on whatever device we have at that point, and they can hear me. I think that's a gift, and I think that that's something relevant. And I'm just hoping that the guys in this world that play music and stuff realize what a powerful tool that is and how you can share that with people. And again, maybe I worry too much about the grandiose feeling of everything has to have such a deep attachment and meaning to it, but that's who I am. And I feel bad about that. It's like, they're going to write happy music. I mean, there's always going to be a Greta Van Fleet, I guess, or Led Zeppelin Jr., whatever that is.
Right.
I don't get it, but
I don't either.
And I see the video of that guy lately, like the new look
What's
he's got.
that?
Seen the
No.
new look
No.
Oh. He says he emulates Aerosmith.
Oh, really?
He gives no credit to Led Zeppelin. Not one. I've never seen anyone try to be Robert Plant so badly. Am I wrong?
Oh, God, yes.
I don't know. I don't get it. So,
I don't. All I know is I was standing in front of a friend of mine, and she's like, "Oh, I love those guys. I'm going to go see them next week." I'm like, "Good on you." No.
You have a good time. You have a good time with that. I'm going to bridge.
I can't do that. I can't.
So, it's a different thing, man. So, So, again, I didn't want to drag us too far into the deep heavy, but it's like.
No, that's all good.
If we have honest conversations. Let's have one, Let's not try to be all super, slick and cool. You know what I mean? Let's just talk about real stuff. So I appreciate you letting me go there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because I appreciate it. I think we all. That's where I like to see where. That's why I like where these go. It's a conversation. That's all this is, and because I want people to know too, even whoever I'm talking to, that we all have things that we like to talk about, things that we do that aren't even music sometimes.
Yeah. I always tell people, if you want to really know who I am, then let's really talk about who I am.
Right.
You know, I mean, because I get it more often than you know. People like friend you and then they'll send you messages. It's like they want to get to know you, but it's like,
Yeah.
you got to choose. Are you going to be that false person that's like, gives them the, you know, or are you going to tell them who you really are and find out if they really are somebody who's going to be
Right.
an impactful presence in your life? You know, you and I hung out
Yeah.
at that show, and you and I have hung
Yeah.
out before, but it's always after I've played and, you know, I've got 200 people to walk around and meet and take pictures with. And like, so you don't get to really know anything about me. But the other show, we had the whole night to just hang and make jokes and have fun. And I really feel like, you know, at that point we had broken the bread on a new friendship. And,
Right.
you know, and that's the awesome stuff. You know, it's like,
Absolutely.
you and I have so much in common about a lot of things. So, you know, so our friendship is really picking up from the beginning in these last few weeks, and like an honest beginning instead of the, hey, this is part of the scene kind of thing, you know?
Right.
And that's kind of the guys in the band. It took a little time till I could figure out who these guys are, and that they trust me with what we're doing. And that's kind of the big thing. I think that's what's really made it together for me and Mike, even for 13 years.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
A long time to be in a band together. It's a long time together. And
it is.
We have
you know, I was in bands with Guy Kingsbury for years. So much so that absolutely. He's taught me a lot and given me many lessons and believed in me when I didn't. You know, you want to play War Pigs? I don't know how to play War Pigs. You played it at my house. No, I did not. I stood there and watched you play it, and I figured out a couple of notes by the time we got to the end, but that's it. And then he looks at me and says, "You'll be fine." I'm like,
guys,
okay.
Guys, even with me, he's like, "Why don't you come out and sit in with me?" I'm like, "Buddy, I'm not that guy. I'm just not that guy." And he's like, "Of course you're that guy." I go, "I'm really not that guy. I don't feel comfortable enough to go out there and just do something like that." You know, it's like, but I had a funny the other night after the gig, at down at the hotspot. I went to KT's, like this place up on Telegraph. I've never been there. Never. I went in and I was sitting there with Diane and Steve, who literally is in like 10 bands, you know, Steve Hall.
Oh, yeah.
And I go in there and I'm sitting there for 30 seconds and I go, you know what's cool? I've never been here. Nobody knows who I am. This is incredible. And Crazy Craig was there, Caveman, you know, who plays bass too. And as soon as I did that, I hear over the microphone, she goes, "Holy shit." She's like, "The singer from Divine Sorrow is here." And she goes, and then she says this over the mic in the middle of the show. She goes, "I'm going to shit my pants." Swear to God, the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. And she's like the sweetest person. It's the band Hell and Back, okay? And I don't know that. And Diane and Steve and Craig, they start laughing. They're going, "Nah, they know who you are." And I've never done it before. I've never sat in with a band because they're in normal tuning and stuff. And all of a sudden they start playing sober. Like they just start playing sober, and she comes over and she gets me to go on stage and I sing it. Totally huge ovation. Like everybody's just like, "Oh my God, that was so kick ass." And I'm like, I can't believe I did it. You know what I mean? But it's like, you just don't realize how you impact other people. I would have never thought, you know, I mean, I would never think other people would know who I was unless they were at my gig or something. Yeah. And it was like, it was pretty humbling. And then I met that band and they're like the nicest people. Like they're just so nice. And the crowd was so nice. And it's just kind of, but I really thought for a moment that I was someplace where I was completely irrelevant to the situation. And I was like sunbathing in it. I was like, yes. And it made me laugh at myself. You know, it's humbling. And I love those people. She is like the sweetest person ever too. So like I said, just those moments, you never know when they're going to happen. It's just, I'm not
Yeah.
the singer of El Monstero or anything. It's like, we're just this band with some songs, just enjoying it. So, so I know what you feel like. Guy Kingsbury brings that out of me. Like
Yeah.
he's tried for a couple of years now to get me to do it. And then I feel bad because his health's been so up and down. Like, kind of running out of time. I could go do that with him. I better go take advantage of it if I can.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we'll talk about that after. We'll talk about that in the green room. So it's really rough right now. I don't know. It's
tough, dude.
Yeah.
We're here again. We're here for this long. What are you going to do with it? Do you want to be a rock star? Or do you want to be a great person? Up to you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, we lost Justin. So, but yeah, it's yeah. So anyway, well then, what is next? Where's your next gig? Before I let you get going.
May 11th at Pops. We're playing with some great bands. So
okay.
We got the flyers up everywhere for the show at Pops, and 5 original bands. And we're going to get up there and we're going to do our set in the middle of the night, and it's going to be a great time. Wow. So hit us up for tickets. We've got tickets for that show. It's going to be amazing. And big PA, big lights, big everything, and solid bands. We've played several shows with the Many Colored Death at this point.
Okay.
They've got so much energy. They're so good. We really enjoy them. And one of Mike's son's band is Mental Fixation is going to be playing. They're going to be opening up the show. And it's just going to be a great night. And our friend Tony Willingham is booking these shows. He has Beyond FM. That guy is a huge supporter of original artists in the St. Louis area. So it's kind of like you support all these original artists and stuff here too.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm telling you, it's a great world to live in here in St. Louis if you find the right people.
Yeah, we were just talking about that too the other day about St. Louis it's an interesting town because Dave Cowles was on last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, some days it's a crazy town. Some days it just seems like it's dead on,
Yeah.
Seems like there's so much happening. And then sometimes there's a band that comes in, you're like, oh, I should go see that. But, I didn't. And then you hear that like 30 people showed up.
Right.
And you're like,
and that's the thing. Your original band, like one time you show up and there's 1,200 people. The next time you show up, there's like 20. And there's no control. But as the band, just get up and play every time like you're playing for 10,000 people. And this band's been lucky. We've played in front of some giant crowds. I've played in front of 10 people. Hell, we went to Park Hills Underground and played for 3 people. There was no one there. It was literally the weekend where all the kids and the parents had their kids starting.
My girlfriend showed up.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we had 2 other people from St. Louis show up. But then the club owners were there they're just like, oh my God, guys. It's like you know what? It teaches you to be humble and laugh at yourself because you don't know. It's like, don't take yourself too seriously. The end.
No, and kill every show. Kill every show. Because if you don't, and 20 people come walking in a group, and you're just going, oh yeah, we didn't think anybody was going to show, so we're just kind of playing.
Here, let me phone this in. Let's phone it in, boys.
Yeah.
Here.
You're like, the jukebox wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
If nobody's in here, the jukebox doesn't play slower. It's just give it all you got.
Because you never know. Sometimes that one, and here's the deal. What if one of the songs could mean something to one person? What if there's one person in the room, that person's having a really bad day, and all of a sudden one thing you did connects with them and it changes the way they look at their life for a minute. Great.
Yep.
We did our job. Sounds great.
Yep.
Still pays the same. Not much.
Yes.
But it's
I know, right?
But it meant something. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've left Justin out for a while.
Well, my phone actually died. My battery is about shot, so I'm gonna need to get off here and charge it up.
Drummers.
That happens. That happens a lot.
Drummers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So and then how many shows do you guys usually do a month?
Not many. Usually we do probably less than 12 shows in a year. we're
Okay.
fine with that. That's really what we want.
Right.
We don't really need to do more.
Quality over quantity.
Let's go have a show that means something, that's fun and impactful. And now I'm trying, Ron and I have been talking back and forth. Ron knows everybody. Literally. I mean, who doesn't he know?
He does.
And he really believes in our music. And he's like, what about we try this and this? So, I mean, I really feel kind of like Ron might be the guy that'd be the best guy to kind of take us out of our shell and put us in some situations that we normally wouldn't put ourselves in. I mean, God knows I love hanging out with him and his wife and stuff. So it's like, again, the universe has put someone else in our path that's amazing. And even with Aaron, it's like, let's just see where the universe takes us next. And let's be happy with whatever that is, and not always be wishing it was something else other than what it is. Let's be happy with what the universe puts in our path. Because that's the real course. I mean, that's the real course.
And that is right in line with what I've been preaching since I started this show, which is, if everybody says that the music industry is not the same anymore, or that it sucks now, you're like, it's always sucked. Yeah. I don't know anybody that has a great talk or a great story about the music industry. It's the reason that we don't have some people anymore, because of the drive or the fact that they've been made into something that they're not. And it
really comes down to the crossroads. Crossroads. Are you going to sell your soul to be something you're not really?
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be me. And that's it. I'm not selling my soul for nothing. That's just, if you love me, cool. If you don't, I get it. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. None of us are. And you know what? Yeah. So either just be real and true to yourself, or don't be anything, or sell your soul, and you can go write some songs that some 40-year-old soccer moms can identify with. I don't know. It's just, I'm not going to care. I'm just going to write what's real. And if people like it, great. And if they don't, okay. Nobody died because of it. Right.
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
It's not, I'm not that important. That's the truth of the matter. I am not any more important than you. I'm not any important than the guy sitting in the front of the stage. We're all here. We're all on this big ship together. So what do we do?
That's right.
Let's all just value each other equally. And, hopefully someday, if something goes wrong with my body, hopefully someone's life who was guided another way will be able to help me, So it's like, we're all here for a different reason. No one's more important than the next. So let's just value.
All right, boys. Hey, sorry to cut you off, but my phone's about ready to die again. So I'm going to sign off here. All right.
You got
it. Appreciate you having me.
You.
It was great talking to you again, for sure. And Brian, I'll see you tomorrow, sir.
Yes, we will. Our ears will know it when we get there.
Excellent. Yes.
All right, brother. See you, buddy.
Thanks again.
See you, man.
You guys have a good one.
See you, buddy.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, that's why I always say, when you step out your door every day, you're in everybody else's world. They're not in yours. So it's those little fairnesses through life. Everybody wants to walk around and just live for themselves, and then they want to bitch and moan when things aren't fair.
Right. And I mean, the thing is, people don't have to come see us play, but the people that do and are always part of life, I mean, I'm grateful for those people. They don't have to come do that. And, same thing for me. I don't have to do things for other people, but some people put a value on themselves in my life that make me want to do things for them. And that's, I mean, that's really it. What you give is what you're going to get in a lot of cases. So that's been great. So like I said, man, I'm just enjoying this. Thanks for having me here today.
Thanks for being here.
And I hope it was kind of what you were hoping you were going to get out of this conversation. And, what you were hoping would be, I mean, I think anytime we go into this, even like you're having a show. So you're trying to, what am I getting out of this? It's going to be good, So hopefully you found some spots in there, although it's been a very long show, hopefully you found stuff you're hoping to get.
Yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, that's just because of the fact that it's good conversation, and that's what it leads to. And then I always just figure, everything happens for a reason and everything happens when it should. So there's always something here for somebody, like you were saying. You never know when it's going to relate to somebody and touch them. And that's the beauty of this too, is that this happens now live, but it also stays for people to check out.
Yeah. So
it's a lot of fun.
Brother.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So, hey, you and I will be hanging again soon, very soon. And
yeah, I'll come down and get me your address and I'll infiltrate your house and we'll
absolutely, but we'll have to do it over some barbecue. We're breaking it. I built this gigantic koi pond, so I'm going to have people over to see what I've come up with.
Oh, perfect.
Pretty
That'd
cool.
Be great.
And we'll make some ribs and have some fun too. While we celebrate some animals living, we'll celebrate the death of other animals with barbecue sauce.
Yeah, we will. We will say thank you.
We will.
Thank you. It's just the way it goes. It's life.
That's how it is, man. That's the cycle of life.
Yeah. Just don't act a twat.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have fun, brother. I'm looking forward to where our road goes together. And again, thanks for thinking I was important enough to come on and do a show with you.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Everybody is. That's the way it is. It's perfect just the way it is, no matter what it is. We're musicians living a life, and it's just great to know it's just great to be here and be real. That's why,
it's great too. And your friend you brought to the show the other night that's been around with us, she's got a great story. I mean, it's like listening to somebody who just has overcome stuff, and I don't even hardly know anything about it yet, but just seeing what she's overcome and like how she's really thriving and being successful in what she's doing with that and all this stuff. I mean, it's like, God, man, there's so many cool stories here and so many new people with cool, undercurrents in their life that really just kind of weave in with everything else with everybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this road goes, brother.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to seeing what your next bunch of music is and seeing a show again and doing all of that. So
stuff is about some very, very internalized stuff. And it's like, I've dug deeper. The Far Beneath was a deep dive into what I was going through, becoming, again, the patriarch of my world. And this next one, I don't even know what I'm going to name this, but I mean, the songs are more anthemic, and it's, I found places, and I'm literally digging as deep as I can go right now. As deep as I can go, I'm digging. So
that's awesome.
I'm going to throw it out there. We'll see what happens.
Well, if you need any ideas or somebody to bounce ideas off of, let me know. I love creative stuff. I love doing that. I've got one of the guys I had on the show is working on this big project. I'm like, dude, I'm right here to help you out with whatever you need. And
I have you come down to the studio, some recording and stuff. I make sure it's on the days when Jason's cool, because Jason's always like roping us in. But usually once we get the basic tracks in and we're starting to do a little mix, that's usually when he's comfortable with people coming in, so you can start hearing kind of what's going on, and we're laying in the other 40 tracks of extra stuff. And recordings aren't just like we go play a guitar part. It's like layers and layers and layers, and people don't realize recording is such an enormous task. It's a lot.
Yeah, I love it. I love being there. I had the fortunate situation where I actually was down. We went down south, and I was hanging with Joe Kingsbury, and he was playing with a country artist actually for a while, and he was doing they were doing some recording down in Nashville, and he's like, I said, dude, I would love to go into the studio and just be a fly on the wall, man. And he's like, yeah, I'll see if the guys are cool with that or whatever. Well, I'm just going to say it this way. They met me, and then we hung out, and they're like, oh yeah, dude, you want to pile in the vehicle? And yeah, we got room. We've made some room. Come on down with us. I'm like, cool, thanks. So I made sandwiches.
We're just fascinated with Jason because he's always got like these funny stories and stuff. And then usually we're ordering like chicken or pizza or food, and then it's long hours of work and just listening to him and watching him do his magic, and just Jason is amazing at roping in whoever he's working with.
Yeah.
He'll bring you in, and like all of your doubts you have about making something good, he just kind of takes it over. And then you realize at the end, it's like he's had control of the whole thing from the beginning. And it's like, and he's kind of like having a psychologist on staff, because he's helping you navigate all the little nuances. I got to take a drink real quick.
Yeah, I've got to get a drink.
But he's like having a psychologist there that's like showing you the way to bring it to life. And I'm always bringing these crazy things to him. It's like, I need a helicopter and a tornado, and I need this and this. And give me 2 seconds. Click, 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 click. Roll, ball, click, 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 click. You know, and then it's recording and stuff. So it's just like, he's really a part of this. I mean, we wouldn't have any of the stuff we have if we had not just been so lucky and fortunate. He was the first guy I called for the studio.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I just trusted him. And I just remember hearing the first track, like everything, the song, everything. And I heard the music, and I'm just like, there's no way that's us. There's no way, you know, because it's just so gigantic and perfect. And it was like, he's like, oh no, that's you guys. It's just, you just don't realize it. And it's
right.
I mean, believe me, he does plenty of magic to make sure we don't suck. So it's not, you know, really comes down to that. But he's consummate professional, and he knows how to keep your head in the game and get you through it. And it's, again, there's a reason why, you know, I'm so fortunate to have that guy in my life too. So, and we drive him crazy, I'm sure, but it's, you know, but he just does. And at the end of June, we're going in the last 2 weekends of June, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, 2 weekends in a row.
Cool.
I mean, that's pretty like 40 plus hours of recording and mixing. And we'll just get the music for 2 songs down. Just the music. It won't even be mixed yet. That's how long it's going to take to record this. And I won't even probably get to any vocals. So, I mean, it's just, but again, it'll be the best time ever. Locked in the studio with Jason McIntyre. Yeah.
Well, maybe I can, I'll come on down and do some photos.
Okay.
You know, of the process.
As long as we don't get in the way of what he's doing, he's fine. I just have to at a time. Have you ever met Jason?
I don't think so, but I may have.
Sure he's an interesting guy. He's just an interesting guy, and he's a really bright guy. He's very cerebral. He'll laugh when I say that, but I mean, it's like, but he is. He's very, and again, he's very different than us. I think his political ideologies are very different from those of us in the band, but it's fun that we can all sit in the same room and it doesn't matter. All just it's intelligent banter back and forth through the whole process. So it's a good thing. It's positive.
Yeah. Yeah. Some days it's like that because we just don't know the other side. I always say ignorant is not a bad word.
We should be able to sit and disagree about something and have discourse about it intelligently and respectfully.
Yes.
Regardless, there's people that are just, I think they're way off the base another way, but I don't have to hate them for it. I have to dislike them for it.
Yeah. Why would I do that?
They have a right. That's what this whole experiment that this country is all about. That we can all be different and all be different, but still have some of the same things and sit in the same room and stick up for each other.
Yeah.
The only way we all grow is by different ideas. So, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
So
that's it's no different than if and I'm serious about this. It's no different than if somebody hated somebody because, wait a minute, hold on a second. So what you're telling me, Brian, is that you do the toilet paper so it comes out through the back, not by the front? Oh my God, I hate you. I can't believe you do that. That's so stupid.
And there's people that they're out of their mind.
It's the same.
They're out of their mind.
I'm like,
so that's all. Hold on 1 second. I gotta check one thing. All right.
You see which way the toilet paper?
I gotta watch my sugars.
Oh yeah,
my body's
yeah.
saying I better eat some food very soon. So,
Well, go. I'll let you go and do that.
man, thanks for your time today. Thanks for having me on. And
Thank you for yours.
we had a great time. So give me a ring tomorrow, dude. I'll find time. Call me around lunch.
I don't know if it's the same time as mine. I'll be back at work tomorrow. I had the day off today.
Yeah, I'll be about noon. That's usually what I'm
probably about noon. Okay. All right, dude.
Dude, I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too, man. And then everybody just hang tight with everything tonight. I'll be back with Go Game Go. Next week, we're going to see what we've got on the show. Hey, that was my Dr. Seuss moment of the day. And Brian, thank you so much. We will see you soon. I'm going to end this if you want to hang just for 1 second.
Okay.
Take it easy, guys.